Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Culture Shock, the show that just loves how the RNC is just ripping apart the DNC right now. I am loving it, every second of it. It makes me super proud to be an American because that's the way America needs to be portrayed. And if you haven't been watching the RNC, guys, you need to get on it because it is about 100 times better than the crap show we saw last week with the DNC. All right, so I've been away for a while. I know there's a lot of things happening, and I'm going to try and cover most of it with this video. So just bear with me. In other news, I've been banned off Twitter for a week. Apparently, I can use the N word, and I can't use the C word. So I can call people chocolatey nougats, but I can't call them cherries for some reason. I don't know. I don't know why. But I'm off Twitter for a week. And honestly, it's been very, very, very peaceful. Not getting into all the details. There have been some times that I wanted to comment or tweet about the RNC because it's just the greatest thing on TV right now. But I can't. So I'll be working vicariously through people who know me personally to tweet on Twitter. So before we get started today, guys, like I said, we got a lot to get through. We have another police involved shooting, Jacob Blake. We have the DNC and the RNC. Now, I did a video on DNC last week, but I didn't think I did it justice because there was just so much shit that I wanted to try and cover that I couldn't really explain in full detail. So it's kind of good that I didn't because now I can go ahead and compare the RNC and the DNC together and kind of see where all those comparisons and contrasts lie. So it's going to be fun going through that. So, but before we get started, guys, as always, please like and subscribe. I always love people's feedback. So leave a comment if you are having any opinions or thoughts. I read every single comment. So just do that for me because it's fun to see you guys engage with these videos, and of course subscribe to the channel because I am looking for subscribers. If you are watching the video version of this on YouTube, then must know that there is a podcast version of this on my channel. You can find me on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. The link will be in the description. If you're listening to the podcast, well, there's a YouTube version of this, so follow the link in the description and get to my YouTube channel. All right, without further ado, let's get down to the meat of this. So if you haven't heard, there's been another police-related shooting. Of course, police were white, the victim was black, and so systemic racism is being shouted throughout the skies. Wisconsin is now on fire, folks. And I'm just going to say this right out, and I'm not saying it to be mean, but I had no idea any black people lived in Wisconsin. It's too damn cold up there. So that's news to me, number one. Number two, a lot of the information regarding this police-related shooting has not been released yet. So again, we have people rioting, destroying businesses, harming and assaulting people. 2 people have already been shot and killed. 1 has already been hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. Yet the media keeps on propping this up as a symptom of this elusive systemic racism that I cannot find anywhere. All right. Fact, less than 15 black people last year died unarmed, were shot by I don't even know if they were unarmed, but 15 black people died at the hands of police. 15. Compare that with the number of black people who have died at the hands of other black people. There's no comparison there. There's a lot more black people dying at the hands of other black people. And we're seeing it right now. We're seeing it as these riots progress. So why the media just does not come out and say, hey, this was not an instance of systemic racism. This was just maybe a shitty circumstances that probably could have been avoided given certain aspects. But we don't know. We have no information on this shooting. We have no context within this shooting until today. Because, of course, when this came out, I wasn't going to comment on it because there's been so many instances where people have jumped on the bandwagon saying police brutality, police is racist, systemic racism, and all this stuff, and none of the facts have come out yet. We've seen it with George Floyd, when the body cam footage came out, with Rayshard Brooks, when he stole a taser off a cop and tased an officer, and now we're seeing it right now with Jacob Blake, all right? So people are rioting in Wisconsin, and the media just is sort of kind of just blowing it off. But I will say this. I will say that last night, CNN, Don Lemon, who is just an absolute disgrace to me because I do not respect this guy because he's just a puppet for the mainstream media, actually came out and said that the Democrats need to acknowledge the riots. When I heard that, I had to clean my ears. I was like, what? Did that just come out of Don Lemon's voice? Because obviously people are taking notice of what's happening in all the major cities in the country. Democrats are just kind of like saying, oh, don't look over there. We're going to talk about how bad Trump is. That's literally have been the pitch for the last, I don't know, 2-3 months for Joe Biden. And it's getting really insane. So the idea that people just immediately go to rioting without all the information is just completely absurd to me. How do you jump to destroying your own community based on an event in which you have no information on whatsoever? Doesn't make sense. But information surfaced today that Jacob Blake was actually harassing a woman. So the original narrative was that he was trying to break up a civil dispute against 2 women or something like that. I don't really know. Again, it didn't sound fishy to me because why would someone being a good Samaritan get shot by the police? Doesn't make sense, right? Just doesn't make sense. If you're being a good Samaritan, the least you probably get from a cop is a high five, not 7 or 8 shots in the back. Something doesn't sound right here. So anyways, he was actually harassing a woman, trying to take her keys, and that's when the call was placed into 911. Now, keep in mind that the person who placed the call to 911 was a person of color. Yeah, think about that for a second. I don't want to say person of color, person of ethnic background, okay? I'm trying to get this SJW terminology out of my mouth. It's gross. Person of ethnic background was the one who was responsible for calling 911 and getting the police there. Now, the police had already understood that Jacob Blake had warrants out for his arrest. So when they arrived, of course, they ran, I guess, the plates on the car, identified Jacob Blake, and knew that he had warrants on his arrest, warrants out for his arrest. So, of course, the whole thing came about where they tried to arrest him. He resisted arrest, and you can see him in the video. If you haven't watched the video, it's pretty disturbing, so kind of keep that in mind. He walks around to his car, reaches into the car, and that's when the police shot him. Now, again, you have to understand that the police main prerogative is to make sure that they go home that night. Okay, so we don't know what he was reaching for, but he was told multiple times to not resist arrest, to put his hands behind his back, to get down. He did not do it. He walked, shrugged off police officers. They had him on the ground, and he fought them off, walked around to his car, and that's when one of the officers opened fire and shot him 7 times. But he's not dead. He's actually paralyzed from the waist down. So again, we still don't have any context on this whole situation. We don't. We just know the police showed up. Jacob Blake has warrants out for his arrest, and that's it. He was resisting arrest, nothing. So we don't know what constituted the conflict. We don't know how it got started. We don't even know many of the details. So that's just me going based on what I have read and what I have discovered over the last couple of days since this shooting happened. So, I mean, guys, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. That's all I'm saying, okay? This is really just it blows my mind how people are justifying their behavior when they don't even know the full story of any kind of conflict that has happened. And I'm going all the way back to Trayvon Martin, I would suppose. So no one knows. No one knew the situation before the Black Lives Matter march started. They called George Zimmerman racist when he was in fact Latino. I get it. There was fault on both sides for George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin. Did Trayvon deserve to die? Absolutely not. But there was instances where both people just needed to be like, hey, we shouldn't be doing this. Let's go our separate ways. But, mainstream media took that up as racism is alive and we're in America, which, yeah, there is some racist people in America. Don't get me wrong. But it's not as prominent as what the media is trying to tell you. I guess that's what I'm saying. All right. So that's that story. Jacob Blake, who knows? Again, we got to wait for more facts to come out. And I'm going to say this, and I'm probably going to get attacked, calling me a racist. You saw what happened, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I saw what happened, but what's the context in which this happened, okay? There's a lot of stuff to kind of analyze and be objective about before we jump to racist cops, okay? Let's just be real. So last week at the DNC, it was nothing but a hate Trump rally, folks, along with blatantly ignoring that some of the major cities in our country is on fire. The DNC did nothing but say we hate Trump because we hate Trump. Orange man bad because he's orange and bad and a man. And it just kept on going. So there was nothing about the violent riots happening. Even Joe Biden and Harris are just completely as quiet on the situation. They haven't even condemned these violent riots. No, no. And this is the media. This is the man they want Democrats to vote for. This is your guy, Democrats. This is your guy. He's not condemning the riots. He's not doing any of that. People want to defund the police when 80% of Black Americans are against defunding the police, because you know why? You take the police out of those urban areas, who is more likely to be affected? African Americans, plain and simple. People with ethnic backgrounds, plain and simple. Minorities, plain and simple. This isn't rocket science. This is simple math. Take the police out, crime escalates. 80% of Black Americans agree that we want more policing in our neighborhoods. Sounds like a plan to me, man. The media pushing the narrative of systemic racism when evidence suggests otherwise. All these people care about is how bad Trump is. That's it. People are being shot. People are burning down buildings, destroying neighborhoods, trying to destroy government-funded buildings. And all the Democrats can say is Trump's fault. Does that sound responsible? Does that sound like the next 4 years, if Joe Biden gets elected, you're getting a preview of what's to come if Joe Biden wins? You really are. So keep that in mind, folks, because it is very, very, very crucial that Donald Trump wins in November, okay? Because remember a few weeks ago in Chicago when a rumor went out suggesting that a Black man or a Black child was shot by the cops, and that turned out to be a lie? Does anyone remember that? Because I remember it. A rumor started circulating around Chicago that a Black child was shot and killed by the police. That turned out to be a lie, but it turned out to be a lie too late, because people were already starting to loot and destroy and riot in Chicago. They had to raise the bridge. It was like the scene from Batman Begins when Scarecrow fucking released that laughing toxin, and they were like, "Oh, gotta cut off Gotham. Let's raise those bridges." It was exactly like that. Turns out the cops shot a Black man who was committing a crime, and the man did not die. So way to go, Black Lives Matter. Just keep on proving our point time and time again. You say you're not a Marxist organization, but all you want to do is destroy, loot, pillage, and force everybody to follow your twisted ideology. That's not what we're going to do. We're Americans. Yeah, all lives matter. And I say it again, all lives matter, not just Black Lives Matter, because saying Black Lives Matter is saying that your life is more important than the other 300 and something million Americans that live in this country. That your life is more significant than theirs, when we are all equal under the eyes of God, and it's written in the Constitution that all men are created equal, not because you're greater because of your skin color, because that's the very definition of racism here, folks. Let's just be real. Let's not be dumb about this. You can't fight racism with racism. That's not how it works, all right? So again, not enough information about Jacob Blake, about anything. The mainstream media just keeps on taking instances of which this happened and twisting it to make these riots happen. So in all honesty, I blame the media. I blame the media because they don't care about the truth. They just want to honestly watch the cities burn. They want to watch the countries burn. Because at this point, the media, mainstream media, is just an offshoot hand of the Democratic Party. That's all it is. That's all it is. And I want them to ask Joe Biden if they denounce these riots, since all of a sudden it's now an important topic. Let's see what Joe Biden says. Let's see if he can stay awake long enough to answer the question thoroughly. It's either a yes or a no. Not, well, you have to see the point is. No, there's no point. Do you denounce these riots, Joe Biden? Yes or no? Simple question, simple answer. But let's get to the most exciting part of everything. The RNC has got to be the most patriotic shit I have watched in years, folks. I cannot. Some of this stuff had me almost watering to the eyes, man. It was just beautiful. Donald Trump. He hasn't even. This is why America loves Trump, because it's not about Trump. While the Democrats at their convention made it all about Trump and the RNC have not made it about them one bit. They've made it about us, the people, and how we have experienced COVID in 2020, going through these riots, how America was flourishing before COVID-19 hit. That has been the RNC's main focus these last couple of days. And going even further, well, in my opinion, I think they should be showing the riots 24/7 to show the American people, like, this is what the Democrats are doing. But see, they're not playing that game. They're not stooping down to that level that the Democrats play. Okay? They're not doing that. They're focusing on the people and how well these people, the American people, and when I say American people, I mean all American people, regardless of race, sex, skin color, ethnicity, whatever. American people, how all of them have flourished under the Trump administration for the last 4 years. That's a fact. You can keep on saying that Trump doesn't care about anybody but himself, but if you watch the RNC the last 3 days, you will see that it's not about Trump. This dude is not the hokey pokey. He's not what it's all about, folks. He is about the American people. And while Joe Biden wants to give illegal immigrants benefits and put the American people second, Trump is all about putting the American people first. Plain and simple. So the RNC this morning, it opened with a prayer for Jacob Blake. Okay, now it's kind of like one of those coincident things, like this happened like a day before the RNC started, but I mean, coincidence, I hope so. I mean, it's just, I don't think the Democrats will go through that much of a length to kind of make Trump look bad, but it is Democrats, so I don't know who said. Instead of bringing up millionaire celebs, okay, so instead of bringing up millionaire celebs like Joe Biden did to tell us how mean and evil Donald Trump is, Donald Trump brought up middle-class, hardworking Americans to tell their story, to show the American people, the rest of the American people, that what he did worked. What he's doing worked. The promises he said that he was going to make, he did. Promises kept. Now, you can sit here and say that those promises weren't kept. If you read the facts, stop listening to CNN, MSNBC, and all these other Democratic, they're just Democratic biases at this point, folks. Donald Trump brought the people in and had them tell the story. Fuck, he even naturalized citizens on live TV. So when you say Donald Trump is racist, xenophobic, bigot, keep in mind that he naturalized citizens on live television during the RNC. What other president has done that? Come on, people, open your eyes. They call Donald Trump a racist and a sexist, but then Joe Biden picks his VP candidate based on race and sex. Come on. Come on now. Let's be objective about this. Joe Biden is not the right guy to lead this country. I guarantee he's not. And if you think he is, Trump is going to mop the floor come November. I guarantee you. Trump, you may not like him. You can't deny he's for the people, though, because meanwhile, Biden wants to give illegal immigrants benefits before Americans. That was his field. That was a direct line from Joe Biden. Had he said naturalized citizens or naturalized immigrants, that would have been different. But he said illegal. Come on now. Come on, folks. I know he's not all there, but you have to admit that his senility, him being senile, is a big problem, especially right now with the way the current situation is within our country. So he wants to give illegal immigrants full benefits and can put America second. That kind of goes against the narrative that America's a sexist, racist, bigot, xenophobic country, right? Yet 4 million people from all over the world want to come here. How do you explain that? Just doesn't make sense. So you can kind of see the contrast between the DNC and the RNC. DNC is all about Orange Man bad and how bad and orange he is. Meanwhile, the RNC is a little bit less like that. You know, you kind of feel proud to be an American. While the DNC is telling overprivileged celebrities who make millions of dollars on how Americans should vote for Biden and how bad Trump is, the RNC, on the other hand, is bringing in average middle-class Americans who have benefited from the Trump presidency. Now, that's mostly all Americans, though they'll never admit it, all right? Some people want to just sit there and just pout and just say Trump did this and that, he didn't do this and that, and not look at the facts and take advantage of what he's actually done for the American people. Trump naturalized immigrants on TV, and that almost made me just tear up, like incredible. People from all walks of life, from the Middle East, from South America, from Europe, from I can't even begin to tell you. Guys, go back and watch yesterday's coverage of the RNC. Then let me know what you think. And he gave a special spotlight to the First Lady and her endeavors as she undergone her first years. Now, Melania Trump has been getting a lot of hate for just existing, right? Again, if Trump is xenophobic, his wife is an immigrant. She came from some European country. I forgot the name of it. She's not Russian. I keep on hearing people saying she's Russian. She's something else, maybe a country or something, a province inside of Russia. I don't know. Okay, but she's done a lot, and I didn't realize how much this woman has done since she's been in the First Lady, because no one really talks about Melania Trump. No one really gives her kudos or anything like that. It says Orange Man bad, and whoever's associated with Orange Man is bad too. So that's pretty. I was impressed. I was really impressed. Meanwhile, fucking Bette Midler, who just doesn't. Bette Midler, just shut the fuck up. You're really making it hard for me to want to watch Hocus Pocus this Halloween. And we're about almost a month out before I start watching that movie almost every day. Just shut up, please. So if you didn't hear, Bette Midler tweeted out, "Oh, Melania Trump can't speak English." I just found out Melania Trump speaks 5 fucking languages. Bitch, you speak 1. Shut up. Just shut up. You look stupid. Please, for the love of Mike, just shut up. I really want to watch Hocus Pocus this year. It's one of my favorite Halloween movies. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. So the RNC is going into day 4 tomorrow. I've been keeping up with it, and it's just been the most spectacular thing ever. So if you take the RNC and compare it with the DNC, you'll see like who is really for America here. Now, in my humble opinion, I believe that the Republicans and Donald Trump are going to fix the country. Prior to COVID, the economy was booming. Everyone was happy. Unemployment was down at the lowest, right? He just signed a peace treaty bill in the Middle East, made Israel the U.S. Embassy once again in the Middle East. He hasn't started any wars. Remember going back when it was 2016 and he just got elected, people was like, oh, he's going to start a war with North Korea. No, he went over to North Korea, sat down with Kim Jong-un, they had a conversation, and now everything's cool. So all of this negativity is going towards one man. It only makes him stronger, folks. You should know this by now. Our president is the most resolved guy you will ever meet because he's dealt with the shitty people before. He's dealt with these kind of people before, and he knows exactly what to do, and he's going to keep on doing it. Trump is running his campaign based on his work and what he's done. He's letting his work speak for himself. Joe Biden and the Democrats, they're running on their campaign on what they plan to do. After 40 years, Joe Biden has been in government, politics. He still runs on what he plans to do. That should say a lot to whoever you plan to vote for in November. Well, that's it for me, guys. Enjoyed having you. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me. Sorry, I've been away. I'm going to try and to stay on a more strict schedule. It's just I'm really busy right now with side projects. I'm drawing a book, comic book that's going to start in January, and then I'm also preparing a script for another comic book that I'm working on with a client. So it's been a lot of work for me, but I'm here. I'm here to give my 2 cents. I'm here to talk about the culture shock that's happening right now in our country because that's my job, and I want to bring that over to you guys. So again, guys, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video because, you know, I'm doing my best for you guys, and I really do appreciate every single ounce of love that you guys give me. So again, I will see you guys in a few days with another video. I don't know what that video is going to be, but if something wild and crazy comes to my attention, please send it to me on Twitter. I can still get DMs. I can't tweet until next Monday. So if you got anything you want to share with me, please let me know. Until next time, folks, I will see you, well, not on Twitter because, yeah. See you later, folks. Bye.